Welcome to the Core of Success podcast. Entrepreneurship, success, health, life, big things are in your future. And now, your hosts, Sean and Mike.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 9 of the Core of Success podcast. Woo! We are your hosts, Sean and Mike. Thanks for being with us today. Mike, what's going on?
Oh, man, I know everybody is super excited. It's the last day before Labor Day weekend and the summer and the barbecues and football starting and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, great day to kind of just put your feet up and relax, right, Sean?
Oh, absolutely not. But it is amazing, before we get into this a little bit, that we are here at Labor Day already. Labor Day 2019. This is incredible, right? Where did the summer go? Time is just flying by. But yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of the mentality out there is, oh, it's just that, right? It's Friday before the holiday weekend. So let's just take it easy. And that's what we thought we'd talk about today. What we're talking about is the concept of don't let up, because that's what happens around pretty much any holiday, right? People just take their foot off that gas a little bit. And we hear things like, well, no one's working, or from a sales side, no one's buying. I'll get back to it after the holiday, or one of my favorites, I've done enough already. So, these are some of the mentalities that are out there, and that ultimately they're not going to serve you well.
No, 100%, and as you look at really the ultra high performers that are out here and the companies that are really crushing, they definitely do not have that mentality. And nor, of course, do we here at the Abs Company. In fact, we'll talk about in a minute, but we actually thrive when other folks take their foot off the gas. We've had some of our best days, right? When going into a holiday, when everybody else is sort of letting their foot off the gas. I'm saying our competitors, the competition, because they take that on that mindset where we kind of turn it really on. And we've been able to have, like I said, some of our best freaking days. So
yeah, we welcome people taking their foot off the gas, right? Just not inside our walls, because you're right. That's the time where you can blow right by them, because we keep moving and we don't let up. But, why do you think people do? Like, why do you think, what is it about people? What is it about holidays and things like this where that just kind of seeps into people? What do you think?
I think they're sold on the idea, because we hear it on the news when you wake up, it's a holiday and everybody's off, and you start thinking about the weekend and going to the beach and the drinking and the party and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if you're working with clients and customers that are real business people, and let's face it, that's who you want to be talking to, they're not taking their foot off the gas.
No, and I just want to be clear about something, that we are in no way suggesting that there isn't a time to
of course,
disconnect and to relax, but don't turn a holiday into a holiday. The holiday weekend starts tomorrow, right? It starts tonight at 5 or 6, whenever you let off the job, but it doesn't start at 9 a.m. this morning. It certainly didn't start back last Monday, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people. They've lost an entire week. That mentality, oh yeah, no, it's fine, we'll just get back to it. But like you said, we thrive when this happens. So I think there's a few theories out there also as to why this happens so prevalently. And one of them is, remember back from our days in studying physiology back in college, all those years ago, when you used to cheat off my tests.
Yeah.
Remember the set point theory about our weight, about our body weight?
Yeah, no matter where you go, your body wants to go back to that point, right? Kind of a natural,
the metabolism kind of heats up, or the metabolism cools down to kind of keep, most adults generally stay within a 5 to 10 pound range, right, after they've gone through their growth spurts and so forth. But I think that same could be true of success. We have a mindset about how successful we can be. And as we do things subconsciously a little bit, Ed Milet talks about this a lot. Subconsciously, we do things when we start to notice ourselves becoming a little bit too successful, in our mind, oh, I can't go there. So you intentionally or unintentionally or subconsciously let your foot off the gas and bring yourself back down. And then we all have those moments where, oh, shoot, I can do better. And you speed it back up. But in general, most people's success kind of stays along a very predictable trajectory, a very predictable level. But as you mentioned before, the ultra high performers, which, here on the Core of Success podcast, that's what we're striving to be. We want to bust through that. So what do you think about that theory? Have you seen that with people?
Yeah, for sure. And you know, for me, it comes back to, and I constantly you talk about it, and even I, you know, when you really, really look at the successful people in business, man, it always comes back to no one gives a shit about what you sold yesterday
Yep.
or what you sold last week or what you sold last quarter. It's about what you're doing today, right now. That's the key. That's the people that are in that upper 5% that are really reaching their goals and achieving their dreams. It's for me, I love sales. I love this part of the business, Sean, because you put the work in, you get the results. It's almost, and the right work. So let me be clear about that. But I go back to, again, our days of training and working out. If you're bullshitting in the gym and you're putting a half-hearted effort in, when it comes to the fight or the competition, you're not going to be ready. You're not going to be prepared. Same thing with sales. If you're not working today, you may not feel it today per se, but in another week or two, when your pipeline is empty, when you're desperation, when you're calling people, I'm checking in on the deal. How many of us have been there? Hey, I'm checking in on the deal. I got nothing new to fucking tell you, right? So
Right.
like, that's really the key. The work that you put in, it's about the results. But I just think, again, some people get lulled into, well, I had a good week, or it's the holiday, I deserve this. No, you deserve to be successful if you're willing to put the work in. You deserve to achieve your dreams if you're willing to put the work in. And it's
Yeah.
right now.
It's a great point. You know, celebrate. We're all for celebrating your wins, but if you're still celebrating yesterday's win today, you got problems because it just, you're right. Nobody cares anymore. That was yesterday. What are you doing today? And I think it's another great point that you make with the pipeline. I always hear you talk to the sales team about the pipeline, that what you're doing today may not pay off for 90 days, but and they kind of nod their heads when you say that, but I don't think it's fully sunk in that what you're not doing today is also going to show up, right? And that's what you're saying. Okay, you're taking your foot off that gas, so you're setting yourself up for that future failure, and that's a big problem. And so I think those are two great points that you're making there. One of the other things I hear why people let up is they say the words "I can't." You know, I can't do this. I can't go anymore. I can't. And what I challenge people to say when they're about to utter the words "I can't" is to change it to "I choose." Like, I can't make any more calls. I can't prospect anymore. I can't come up with a new idea. No, it's "I choose not to." Because when you say those words out loud, it totally reframes the conversation. Imagine saying, "I choose not to make any more calls today, Mike." Oh, well, how's that going to go over when you say it to your boss? "I choose not to write any more quotes today. I choose not to do my social posting," so on and so forth. If you said that out loud, it definitely does something to you personally, internally, like, whoa, taking responsibility at that point as opposed to pushing it off. But imagine having that conversation with your boss or with your customer or with a vendor, so on and so forth. And so eliminating that word "can't" and replacing it with "choose," I think is powerful. But the word "can't" definitely allows people to let up, in my experience.
That's all. I mean, just that little bit, that word that you use and that mindset change where you can shift your mindset there to "I choose not to." Because anybody, and I think, look, when you're in sales, when you're in business, man, you want to be that ultra high performer. That's why you got in here, right? Or maybe you have aspirations to be that, but you say, "I choose not to write another quote," or "I choose not to make one last call." You're basically choosing the alternative, right? Which is not, which is fair.
100%. I choose to let up because it's the Friday before the holiday, right? So, and that's what you're going to get. I was talking to someone about this the other day because, you know, we've spoken about this several times about how we both like to train in the morning, right? We're both at the gym, 5 a.m. doing our thing. And someone said to me, I can't do that. And I'm like, no, actually, you're just choosing not to. There's nothing different between my physiology and yours unless you have some issue that I don't know about that prevents you from getting up at 5 and going to the gym too. And guess what? When I go to the gym at 5, and you can probably attest to this, I'm not the only one there. There's a lot of people there. And I'm not saying you have to go at 5, but don't let that be an excuse, right? I choose not to. I think it's a good mental shift.
Yeah, and look, the thing about it too is when you choose not to make a call, when you choose not to prospect, you get on this roller coaster, as we talk about in sales, where you're hoping and you're desperate for that quote to come in or the order to come in. It's not how it works.
No.
It just isn't. Like, again, I use the analogy of stepping on stage and bodybuilding or getting ready for a fight. If you didn't do the work, if you didn't prepare, you're going to most likely lose. You're definitely not going to be at your best, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. You get on that roller coaster of, yeah, I got some wins. And then you kind of let your foot off the gas. And even that's, I think, a really big thing. Like, say you get some great wins today, you take your foot off the gas because of that. And you do some other stuff that you're not prospecting, you're not calling customers. You're going to feel that. So boom, you're going to have that big drop next week. And then you're going to be wondering what the hell happened. You got to put in the work every single day. And for me personally, and other people I talk to, when I get wins, that just gets me more fired up, right?
Yes.
It just gets me more amped up to make more calls, to set more appointments, to contact, because I feel now I'm fired up, man. I feel great. It's hard. It's a hell of a lot harder to do that when, you know, you haven't got some sales and your pipeline is shit. Now you got to really get yourself fired up. So take those wins and build on it. That's really important.
That's super important. I think you're touching on a mindset. One of the things we talk about here at the Abs Company all the time is the word complacency.
Yeah.
You know, I've shared the story several times about the words complacency kills from my brother when he was back in the war in Iraq. But basically, it's true anywhere in life. As soon as you get complacent, which is exactly what you're alluding to, oh, I made a great sale. Awesome. Celebrate it. But now, oh, I've done enough. I've got that. I'm still celebrating that win. You're complacent. Where what you're suggesting, when you make a big sale, when you make a big deal, what the emotion that you get is content, right? You're very happy about that. You're content that your work paid off and so forth. But there's a huge difference between being content and being complacent. Content means, yep, I'm celebrating that. I'm happy, but here I go again. I'm fueled up to keep going because I know this works. I believe in what I'm doing. Complacent means, oh, I got that win. That's good enough right now. I'm just going to sit back and kick my feet up. There's a huge difference in those two things, but that complacency is definitely a sign of somebody who's letting up for sure.
Yeah, if you get to a point where, and we've been there, if you're in any type of sales where for whatever reason you didn't do the work the 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, you were doing admin stuff, you were working, making sure the installs went right. You know, you're doing that stuff that is necessary, but you weren't calling the customers, right? You didn't block out your time successfully or appropriately, right? You didn't prioritize. And now you get to that point in the month where, it's the end of the month, like today would be, right? Today's the last day of the business day of the month. And you're like, oh shit, you know, where's those sales? What do I got to do? I got to call. It doesn't work that way in sales. Typically there's no one call close, even though some guys talk about it's bullshit a lot of times. It's the work that precedes it where your pipeline is full, where you're going to get those orders come in, you're going to get that come in. And let's face it, when you're desperate, the customer can sense that.
Yeah.
He can sense it. You're weak, you're passive, that doesn't work. Nobody wants to be around or talk to anybody like that. Oh, I'm calling to check in about my quote. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, that never works, man. It's when you're at that emotional level. Hey, man, see, check in. Where are you at on that? Great. On to the next one. You know, you got a full pipeline. The orders are coming in. And that, again, always goes back to the work that needs to be done today.
Yeah, I think people, you know, some of that mentality comes from, we've always heard at car dealerships, right? Go in at the end of the month, they got to sell, you're going to get a better deal. And maybe that's true. I don't know. I don't sell cars. I bought a few, but I don't sell them. So I don't know. But in our business and in many businesses, that's not true. Like you said, they don't care that it's the last day of the month. They care that they're ready to send in that quote because it's solving their problem at the time that they need it solved. And I think that's a big difference for the salespeople. They have to make that mentality. But there's another one that I hear a lot, and it's, I've done all that I can, right? It's another hallmark of somebody who's letting up. I've done all that I can. And my personal belief on that is you've never done all that you can. Like, I don't care what you're doing. You have never done all that you can. And as soon as you utter those words, you're throwing in the towel. You're raising the white flag saying, that's it for me. And that's a sign of someone who's let up and someone who's not ultimately going to win, because there's always something more that you can do. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Jeb Blunt, and he talks about prospecting, and he talks about one last call, right? And that's what it's about. You make that one last call, even when you think you can't. You make that one last text, comment, you know, LinkedIn, whatever you got to do. But the one last calls, I love that, because there's never enough. The business, and look, that to me, I look at that as we're fortunate to have that mindset where there isn't. Like, there's over 20,000 health clubs in the United States alone, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I look at that as tremendous opportunity never enough. There's always another customer. There's always another studio opening up. There's always another firehouse, another police station, another college, UYMC, everything, right? So it's that one last call. And typically when you choose to make that one last call, man, a lot of times it proves to be so beneficial. You make that last call, man, and it just works. I don't know. It's like magic. You just do it, and then it leads to something else and something else. So
yeah, you're saying 20,000 clubs estimate, right? There's studios, fire, university, police. Are you suggesting to me, Mr. or Ms. Salesperson, that all 20,000 have taken the day off? All 20,000 don't want to get a head start on what they need to do next week, right? And that's, but again, you have that mentality that, yeah, this is true. Everybody's off today. Again, you're setting yourself up to lose for sure. You've never done all that you can, and winners know that for sure. They're always doing something else. But I just want to be clear one more time about something that you and I both believe. We are not the people that say you grind 24/7, you hustle, team no sleep, because that's all bullshit, right? I believe firmly in sleep, right? I like to get at least 6, possibly more hours of sleep. I believe firmly in spending time to work out, spending time with the family and so on, because that keeps me at my best, so that when I am here doing the work and putting in that time, it's my best work. And that's my standard, right? So don't think we're saying, oh, don't ever do that, but don't do it when it's time to do it. Be where you are. Be present in the activity that you're doing. When I'm working out, I'm not making sales calls. I'm not working on product development. Maybe in my mind, I'm thinking about some of these things, but when I'm working out, I'm working out. But when I'm here working, I'm not surfing the internet either. I don't let up. When I get in that office, I'm doing my work. And that's what's leading to the success in my mind.
Yeah, that leads to being present, like you said, right? And being at the top of your game wherever you are. When you're with your family, you're at the top of your game. You're present. You're with your family. You're with your kids. When you're working out, the same thing, right? But when you are working, right, you're making calls. You're in the call. You're present. You're listening to what they have to say. The guys that I don't know. When people are saying, "Oh, I'm working," I'm waking up at 3 a.m. and doing this, and really, are you? But you still make 30 calls. Like, how productive were you? And out of those calls, again, were you at the top of your game? Did you have that confidence? Did you have that certainty? Did you feel good about what you're doing? Because in this, there's no bullshit in this game. You put the work in or you don't. You get the results or you don't. And I firmly believe that especially like with our company and really with most companies, if you have products that are valuable, that solve problems, if you put the work in, you're going to get results and you're going to win.
Yeah, look, the work is obvious. People, like I've always said, there's no winner that stands up and tell you how hard he worked.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, when you watch a sports game or a fight, whatever, that's not what they talk about. The result is obvious. You won or you lost. And that's the game. And entrepreneurship is no different. Nobody cares how much vacation time I did or didn't take, how much sleep I did or didn't get. They care whether or not my company is successful enough to solve their problems with the products I'm bringing out. And if you work for this company, all you care about is, am I providing a place where you can thrive, find your joy, be successful yourself? The rest of it doesn't matter. Right now, if I wasn't being successful, people may question it and say, hey, maybe you should put in a little bit more work there, Sean, or put in the right work. But other than that, don't talk about that stuff because nobody cares. So we've talked a lot about how people let up in sales and in business, which is obvious, right? But here on the Core of Success, we believe in success in many areas of our lives. And another one is working out, right? Our health, our nutrition. And we see people let up here all the time. They are going to start their diet tomorrow, or they're going to get working out after the holiday, or they're going to make that New Year's resolution before they start. And you're kind of giving up all this time. You're letting go of your health for that time. So what have you seen there in some ways that people let up in their health?
Yeah, again, I think it's common, right? Especially the New Year's is the most common thing we know. But even around holidays, I'll get started. Now, this could even be in early August. And I hear people say, well, after Labor Day, I'm going to get started. And it just really what?
Yeah.
You're going to wait a month to try to improve your health?
Yeah, what's going to be different then?
Yeah, nothing. It's excuses, right? It's excuses, like you said earlier, because I choose not to go work out, or I choose to eat like a slob, or I choose to eat, that it doesn't work. It's just bullshit excuses. At the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, how you feel, I really go back to your energy levels. Like even on days when we are off, like we're gonna have a barbecue this Sunday right at our house. I want to work out that day in the morning because number one, I love working out and training, as you know, but it gives me energy, it gets me stoked, it gets me fired up for the day. So I can even enjoy it that much more. But yeah, you get people, and look, I think it's a common thing too. If you're around other people that have that same loser mindset, I'll say, I don't mean loser is maybe a harsh word, but it's a mindset of excuses. It's a mindset of not being committed. It's a mindset of not winning and not achieving your dreams, right? If you're around other people that are saying the same bullshit, like, oh yeah, oh yeah, you need to change. You need to change where you are quickly. And then something like family, you can't do that. But if you're around friends, so to speak, that have that mindset or that, you got to change it, man. Go to the gym, work out. Because like you said, at 5 a.m., I guarantee you there's a ton of people there training, working out. Be with those people.
Yeah, it's infectious, right? You're being around people like, oh yeah, we'll start later. Oh, it doesn't work. Or, oh, I have no energy for it. You know, you can buy into that. For me, that's water off the duck's back because it's something I truly believe in. But, you know, a lot of people, if you're struggling in that area to really get your health and nutrition on track, be around people that have theirs on track, and it'll seep in with you as well. So yeah, I agree. Workouts are definitely an area where people let up, but I'll give you one.
I want to say on that. Sorry. The one thing I do.
Please go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing I want to say too is, you know, if you made a commitment to work out and say you didn't, say you're eating like crap, don't you feel like shit the whole day? And even when you're at the party or something, because I've done it where I wanted to work out and I didn't, and like, oh man, at the party you're having fun, but you're not like, you know, you're not at your best. You're just like, oh, because you're thinking, oh, I didn't work out. And man, just do it. Just go and do it and then enjoy the day. It's pretty simple if you think about it. And yet people always talk about it. Oh yeah, you encouraged me to go work out, like family. You encouraged me to go work out. I did it. I feel so great now. I feel, yeah, of course.
Right. Nobody ever did it and didn't feel great. Yeah. So definitely don't let up in the areas of your health and your workout. Just start small, build that momentum, stack the wins until it becomes a part of your life. I'll give you one last one because we've touched on a little bit of this too. It's relationships. You know, people tend to let up in their relationships, both in business and in personal. And relationships take work, right? From a business side of standpoint, you can't say, oh, well, I called them, or, oh, I see them once a year at the trade show, so that relationship's strong. Well, guess what? You just got complacent, and somebody else putting in the work is going to take that relationship from you. And the same thing in our personal lives, right? If you're married, you have a significant other, so on and so forth, it's not enough that you've been with them 10 years. You got to put in that work every single day. As soon as you let up and letting them know how you feel from a personal level, or making sure that you're solving the problems from a business standpoint in that relationship, as soon as you let up in that, where does the relationship go? It goes south, right? And as soon as that relationship goes south, you're not going to win anymore. So I think for me, I've seen time and time again, people let up in the relationships, and that just leads to disaster.
Yeah, you assume that everything's okay. Again, the big word there is you get complacent, you know. Oh, we're good. You know, hey, this last year, you know, I really took care of this guy, and we had and then, you know, but right now, what's that doing for him right now? Yep. You know, again, it's about right now. What are you doing right now for the customer, for your family? Like how are you affecting them? What actions are you taking? With the customer, for me, it's always about what else can I do to help provide value and help you solve problems? And you know, that I really enjoy that. I think if you're in sales and you're a business, man, that's huge. You got to really enjoy helping people, number one, to be successful in business for sure. But it's really, I like what you're saying about the family too, because so often we take them for granted, right?
Yeah, when something's going to give, right? When you got to put in this time for the work or the business and so on, and some time has to give, generally you push that off on your family, right? And that's getting complacent. That's letting up with your relationship with your family. But you alluded to it earlier. It's all about just being present. I can't guarantee that I can spend, 6-8 hours on a Thursday with the family because I'm running a business. However, the 2 or 3 that I am spending with them, I'm there. The phone's away, computer's down, totally present. And that's really the difference. As soon as you get complacent in those relationships, you're sending them down a very, very bad path, business or personal. And for me, at the end of the day, if you boil all these things down to where people are letting up, whether it be their business, sales, working out, health, relationships. I can kind of boil it down to one thing. When you talk about the success that you want and the actions that you're putting in that are supposed to drive to that success, you just don't want it bad enough. People will say, hey, I called them twice. I made 3 calls. 3 calls. That's it? You think that's going to lead to the business? When I started the business, if I was making 3 calls, I don't think I'd be here 20 years later, right? Because I wanted it that badly. When I think about my working out, I work out. Yeah, I used to work out 6 days a week. Now I'm down to 2. But yeah, I want to be healthy. But I just don't feel good. I didn't want it bad enough, right? I get up at that 5. That's why I keep going. Same thing in those relationships. I'm putting in the time, whether they be with my factories. People say, wow, you travel a lot. Yeah, I'll do 200,000 air miles this year. You know why? Because I believe that strengthens my relationships, being there face to face, because that's how badly I want it. I can't sit here and preach how badly I want the success, how bad I want the health, and then not how badly I want the strong relationship, and then not, as we've said 100 times today, put in the work that maps to it. So if you're making these excuses, if you're saying the words, I choose not to do these things, for me, quite simply, you don't want it bad enough.
I don't know. And it comes down to 100% agree. Everything you said there, the commitment, right? Yeah. What are you committed to? You know, did you commit to your health? Did you commit to your business, to your team? What are you committed to at the end of the day? And if you're committed to it and you write it down, it's worth it for you. Like we talk about, you know, with our dreams and what we're going for, you commit to it, follow through on it, do it, you know, and because if you don't, you're going to not be fulfilled. And like you said, I love to go back to you choose. I choose not to.
Right.
That's huge. That's a really good takeaway. I hope that everybody gets from today.
Yeah, and as soon as if you make these commitments that you're talking about and you don't follow through on them, your mind registers that. Says, oh yeah, when this person says something, they don't really do it. So no big deal, right? They will start. I'm going to start tomorrow. No, you won't, because you've said it. So make that commitment, stick to it. But let's just give them a couple tips here as how to not let up. The first one for me is don't negotiate against yourself. I heard Tony Robbins say that once and always stuck with me. Don't negotiate against yourself. And what he means by that is exactly what we were just saying. When you make that commitment that you're going to work out, you're going to make your 15 prospects and 50 phone calls today. You're going to post on LinkedIn every day. You're going to spend 2 quality hours with the family each night after dinner. Once you've made that commitment, there's no changing that. What we do is we negotiate against ourselves. I can tell you, I've been waking up at 4:45 in the morning for almost 20 years to go work out. There's not a time where my alarm goes off that I'm like, hey, let's go work out. Man, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, this and that. But I say those words to myself. Don't negotiate against yourself. I made a commitment. I get up and I do it. And like you said earlier, I never regret it ever once. I regret going to the gym at that point. So once you have that commitment, don't negotiate against yourself, because when you do, you're letting up, and that is not going to help your path to success.
Love it. Love it. And mine, I love the fact is one last call, one last rep.
Yep.
I like that, because it's like, just when you think that, you know, that's it, I can't do anymore. Again, you choose not to, you make that one last call. You do that one final rep or final set at the gym. That's going to pay off. That's the difference. And to mentally know that you were tired, that you went above and beyond, that energy that you get, and that really it transmits to other people as well. It's amazing, man. And just the confidence that you get, because you know what, no matter what, like you could have a really shitty morning, turn that into an awesome day. Yeah. I don't like when people say, oh, how was y'all had a shitty day? Well, that's your fault, man, because you didn't turn it around.
Yeah, the whole day.
Turn it around. If you have a shitty morning, like, oh, an install didn't go right, or this customer's complaint, got it. That's business, and that's going to happen. And that family stuff too. Turn it around. Don't leave things until you turn it around, until you can walk out and say, you know what? I had a fantastic, awesome day. I did it. I turned it around. Make every day like that. It's really important.
Yeah, I love that. And I hope you guys were listening. Write that one down. Another great takeaway is one last call. And I know Mike, you know, he goes to a lot to sales in when we're talking on these podcasts, but because that's what he does, right? He's an expert professional salesperson. But don't think that the word call just applies to sales. Call is that last rep at the gym. It is that extra hug on the way out the door, right? Just do that one more. When you think you're done, do that one more, because that's what champions do. And I guarantee your competitors who are beating you, they're doing it. So the last one I have for them is set standards and stick to them, right? You have to have those standards. So don't just say, I'm going to work out. Well, how many times are you going to do it? You're going to do 3? Good. Make that commitment. Don't negotiate. Have that standard. Stick to it. How many calls? How many prospects? How many posts on social? How many contacts with new vendors? Whatever that is, set that standard for yourself and stick to it. Because as we said, your mind will learn, right? You start to stack those wins. And it can be small. This week you say, hey, I'm going to post 3 times on LinkedIn, something interesting about what's going on in my world. Do it, right? It's a small thing, but it's a win. You start to stack those wins, and that's where the momentum comes from. Because if you don't, you will ultimately start to let up, because you have all the good intentions in the world. But if you're not sticking to those commitments, they're going to wane, right? That motivation is going to wane. You're not seeing the immediate results. You're going to let up. And that is not how you get to the core of success.
Yeah. That's real quick on that point too. When you have that high level, that high standard, those other people have those expectations for you as well, right? And I think that can, like we say, rising tide, raises all boats. So you have those types of standards, those types of expectations. People want to get to where you are. If they have that drive and if they want to be successful. Some people will go south and go the other way, which you don't want them around you on your team anyway. But you have those standards. We have that commitment. Other people see that. They expect, wow, I know when Sean's here, it's on, we're gonna have an incredible meeting. We're gonna get a lot of stuff done. It's not gonna be a bullshit session. Other people will see that, and so when they conduct their meetings, they want to do the same thing. Or when they're doing a sales call, hopefully folks, when they hear me on a sales call, they want to, put the energy in like I do, et cetera. That raises everyone's game. Really, really great point.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. I think we've discussed a lot of things here. This concept of don't let up applies to so many areas of your life, so many areas of success. So we hope you do enjoy this holiday weekend. It's probably past by the time you're hearing this, but relax, recharge, get back to it as soon as you're ready. Don't let up. Remember, the core of success is you.
Big things.